Hello friends, welcome back to Myths I Fell Prey to Before I Become a Dietitian, Part 2. It's Marve Celine. I'm a former lawyer turned dietitian specializing in sport nutrition and eating behaviors. Here we dive into science-based tools to help you build a stronger body and mindset. Welcome. Today we are busting some of the most popular nutrition myths with science. This video is part 2 of my previous one, so if you haven't seen it yet, you can check it out after this one. Okay, let's start with drink this, burn fat. I wish something like that existed. I would love to drink a detox juice and burning all my fats. But in real life, the biology doesn't work like that. And here's the most important part. Burning fat doesn't equal losing fat. Now get ready to dive in a little biology with me. In the body, to actually lose fat, simply put, lose weight, two different sequential processes have to happen. First, adipose tissue, the body fat, needs to be broken down into glycerol and fatty acids. When we talk about fat burning, we actually refer to this process. But it doesn't stop there. Glycerol heads to the liver, and the fatty acids start circulating in the bloodstream to be used as energy. If there is no energy deficit in the body, those fatty acids pair up with glycerol again and get stored back in the fat tissue. This is a constant process, breaking down and producing fats happening all the time, even in our sleep. The only time the balance shifts toward fat loss is when the energy expenditure is greater than energy intake. So I don't want to burst anyone's bubble, or maybe I do, but don't fall prey to burning fat products or headlines. Eating after 6 p.m. makes you gain weight. I remember the times when my family would have dinner after 6 p.m. and I wouldn't let myself join them. Looking back, it's really sad, especially since I don't have that opportunity anymore. As you might know, longevity has been a huge topic in the health world recently. And if we look at the biggest factor of longevity, it's neither diet or exercise. It's socializing, connection, community. So before even we talk about biology, I want to underscore the importance of social factor. If a rule like this stops you from connecting with your loved ones, what's the point? Now on to the biology. This claim is usually based off 4 ideas. Circadian rhythm, reduced insulin sensitivity after sunset, poor sleep quality, and lower energy needs before bed. We are not about to run a marathon. We are going to bed. Here's the thing, it might sound a little counterintuitive, but none of those are completely wrong. There are plausible reasons to encourage healthier habits. However, if you remember what we discussed just a minute ago, unless there is an energy deficit, there is no fat loss. When we look at the studies that examine specifically this topic, as long as the calories are equated, there is no difference between groups who eat earlier versus later. So all in all, it is optimal to finish eating 3 to 4 hours before bed for smoother digestion, better sleep quality, recovery, and better insulin sensitivity. But there's no need to stress out and start counting minutes. When it comes to weight, overall energy intake is what matters the most. Now let's talk about the gluten. Gluten is the protein found in wheat. Yes, protein obsessors out there, gluten is a protein. And there's nothing inherently harmful about it for vast majority of people. The only people who truly need to avoid gluten are those with celiac disease, gluten intolerance, or a diagnosed wheat allergy. For everyone else, gluten is just another nutrient. So for example, when you see a gluten-free label on a product, people think it is healthier. But actually, there's no such correlation. On the contrary, many of those products have more additives than usual ones and can actually cause more bloating or GI discomfort for many people. So unless you have a medical condition to avoid gluten, there is no need to cut it out. Gluten is just another nutrient. Some claims assert that it causes leaky gut, but findings are not yet conclusive and not enough to prove that it's actually the cause. But many people I hear say that when I cut out gluten, I lose weight. It makes so much sense because when you cut a group, you create an energy deficit. So the reason is not the gluten itself, the reason is energy deficit. Okay, superfoods. Before becoming a dietitian, I used to love researching superfoods, thinking I could use them for specific conditions. What I know now is though, various nutrients work with harmony. It's true that nutrients differ from one another. For example, some antioxidants like polyphenols have unique effects on body, and incorporating them into your diet is so important. That said, nutrition is not something you do for 21 days and stop. Your body needs those nutrients your entire life. So instead of putting all your eggs into one food and expect miracles, focusing on overall diets and including functional foods over the long run is much more effective. Your anemia, for example, isn't going to disappear just because you gulp down raisins for 21 days. Iron is an essential micronutrient that you will need your entire life. It is actually important for women. So the key is consistently incorporating nutrient-dense foods. Like eating iron-rich foods on a daily basis is a part of your lifestyle. One single food at a one single time cannot build or break your diet. It is the overall pattern what matters. Canned and frozen foods are not healthy. This is another myth that can cause harm than good. Here's the truth. Canned and frozen food are perfectly safe and can be nutritious and practical if you know what you look for. Frozen foods go through strict safety and quality standards. Vegetables are often flash frozen right after harvest, locking in vitamins and minerals, sometimes even more than fresh produce that's been sitting on shelves for days. Canned foods, on the other hand, can be also very practical and healthy options. The key is reading the label. Choose no added sugar and low sodium options, and give them a quick rinse under water to remove excess additives. Here's the bigger picture. If your choice is between ordering a fast food from outside versus making a home-cooked meal using canned beans and frozen vegetables, home-cooked option is almost always more nutritious, with better control over ingredients. So instead of stressing out fresh or nothing, think how canned and frozen foods can make healthy eating easier, more affordable, and more realistic. These are great options for quick, practical meals. Personally, my go-tos. Okay, we're done with myths. I hope you enjoyed this series and find them helpful. If you want to see more science-based nutrition tips, make sure to subscribe to my channel. If you have questions or myths that you want me to cover, please comment down below. I can always consider making videos about them. If you like this video and haven't seen the part 1, you can click it right there. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you give the nourishment you deserve to your mind, body, and soul. See you.